Goldylocks Productions provides professional internet, TV, and radio shows in the spiritual and New Age genre.
Hey, Anthony Rodriguez here, Walking Crow for the Transformational Sacred Drum Medicine. How are you today? Happy Tuesday. Are you ready to choose? Are you ready to choose something different for your life? Welcome to another Tuesday edition of the Transformational Sacred Drum Medicine with myself, Anthony Rodriguez, Walking Crow. And today's special guest, Ian Morris from Listening to Smile. Man, I can't wait to get into today's show. It's going to be a meaty show of healing, a meaty show of music, a meaty show of collaboration, and what it is that we're doing to help others in this world, both Ian and myself, and our producer, Tiffany White Sage Woman, and what she does as well. She supports us in what it is that we do and gives us a place to do it. Aho, shino, and aho. So, but before we get started, I'm going to sing Spirit In, and I'm going to use a rattle today. I'm going to do something different. I usually use a drum, and I'm actually going to use a different song that I wrote. And this, I think this may be the first time that Ian has heard this song, because I wrote it with him in mind to do some collaboration down the road. Aho. So I'm going to get going. Neshe neta hota neta hota neta ho. Neshe neta hota neta hota neta he. Neshe neta hota neta hota neta ho. Neshe neta hota neta hota neta ho. Aho, ishino wana he, ishino wana honata. Aho, I want to thank everybody again for coming. We're just staying in spirit, and I'm going to ask Spirit that I'm going to burn some sage and clear the room, clear all the computer. This is a new location for this particular computer that I'm using. I use this in the LA studio, and it's now going to live in Sedona. Aho, I asked that Greater Great Spirit would clear myself, clear Ian, and clear Tiffany White Sage Woman, and that all the computers and the phone lines across the land between us in Vermont and Connecticut and Los Angeles, that they would be clear, 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 and that I would be a clear channel. That I would be a clear channel, and we would be a clear channel of a good message, that Ian would be a clear, clear channel, and we would be clear and have a healing message for those who are tuning in today. All right, so I want to talk about my calendar real quick. Obviously, every Tuesday, on the Transformational Sacred Drum Medicine Show at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time, with myself, Anthony Rodriguez, and then again on Wednesday at 8 p.m. live from Sedona. I will be doing shamanic drumming, and I will be doing it live from the Rock, about 200 yards from here in the studio. And so you can join me live there, or you can tune in live and listen to it on Facebook. I would also ask, if you tune in live on Facebook, as an exchange of energies, if you would like to make a donation, you can do that through that Facebook event page, and whatever you think it's worth to you, just an exchange of energies. If not, no big deal. We continue doing what we do. Aho. August 11th in Los Angeles, Silver Lake, California, with medicine woman Sochi Ashe. I should have her on, as a matter of fact. We're going to be doing a transformational sacred drum making journey, and we're going to be making drums on that Saturday. We're going to come together in the morning. We're going to do ceremony. We're going to set the intentions for the frame, set the intentions for the hide, and we're going to create grandmother drums. We're going to put them to soak, and then we're going to go off to do our day, and then come back in the afternoon about 4 or 5 o'clock, and we're going to put those drums together in ceremony. Aho. If you want to do that, you have till the 3rd to register. You can register for $175 as an early bird, $175, or you can pay the $200 either way, you will walk away with a ceremonial drum that you can use at any event that you so choose. Aho. And then again, on the 15th and the 16th, I will be doing the same event in Carlsbad, California. Aho. So look into my event page, or you can go to my website, or you can go to eventbrite.com and you can check all that out. Aho. So I also want to let you know that you can buy your sage, not this one because this one's used, unless you can buy it at a thrift store. You can buy your sage from me, $15 for a stick of sage. It's $3.75 for shipping. And if you buy more than one stick of sage from me, it's $15 times, let's say, 2 or 3, plus $3.75 for shipping and handling. I can send it for $3.75 for up to 3 sticks. So if you want to do that, you can do that. Aho. So let's go ahead and move into the show. And Ian Morris has over 20 years of experience in the creative arts field. Over the years, he has worked with community powerhouse organizations such as United Way, Hospice, and Meals on Wheels to utilize the healing force of creativity in building community connections and enriching the lives of those he worked alongside. Aho. He is a multi-instrumentalist, poet, author, and intuitive healer who is a pioneer in truly exploring the power of sound and meditation, paired with collective intention under the umbrella of his company, Listening to Smile. Aho, aho. So you can find Listening to Smile at www.listeningtosmile.com. Ian, how you doing, buddy? Glad that you could come onto the show and be with us. How are things going for you?
It's an awesome day, man. I'm really excited to be here.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. I've been chomping on the bit trying to figure out when to have you on. And, what's funny is, I wish I had 2 or 3 hours to do this and not just an hour. I'm sure we can work that out at some point with Tiffany because she's the boss. But, for today, here we are. And thank you once again. And, I got to tell you, your music, what you do is amazing. Not just because I love music and I'm a musician and I've been a lifetime fan of music, but because of what your music is for and how it's purposeful in the way of healing, and not just healing, quieting the mind, but healing the spirit, healing the soul, healing the physical body. I don't know if I told you, maybe I did tell you this before, when we were talking earlier before the show, that while I was going through my divorce, I would listen to your music, loop it all night long. And as you would send it to me, I would add it to my iTunes and just, pile that on in that file and just listen all night long as I slept. And I believe that was part of the components that helped me. Oof, here comes the emotion. Part of the component that helped me to heal, because I was doing a lot of shadow work at the same time.
Yeah.
When you're doing a lot of shadow work, you need something to soothe the soul, soothe the body, soothe the mind. And your music really lends itself to that.
Oh.
So thank you for what it is that you do, and, I want to ask you, can you give us a quick story on how you got started? Because there are those who are listening today who don't know, who may not know you. They should, but let us know. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Well, my experience was very similar to yours. I had an illness, a mystery illness that the doctors couldn't really figure out what was going on, and I definitely hit a dark night of the soul. Confronting. I'd never been sick to that degree, and I was just kind of trying to figure it out. And so I had to start studying and becoming my own doctor, because you know your body more than anyone else on the planet. So if you listen to your body talking to you, you start, I started reading books and looking online and kind of searching for holistic remedies, and I'd never done that before. And so, and turning to that direction, I was led down the rabbit holes, as they say, going down different, from documentaries to articles and just cross-referencing and books. And I came across this book called The Healing Power of Sound by Mitchell Gaynor. And it just had such a powerful impact on me when I got a hold of that book. It was just a book that was from a traditional doctor who saw the benefits of sound healing, singing bowls, voice. And just he started seeing miraculous recovery with cancer patients that he was experimenting, with the sound with. And so they became part of his practice. In New York, he had a cancer clinic where they were using singing bowls and the human voice to heal patients. And so when I got a hold of that, I just really ran with it. And I was in a dark place trying to figure out, I was depressed, I was in pain, I was not doing well. I was starting to become very bitter, with life. And so when I started realizing how much the binaural beats and the pure tones were, they were having such a powerful effect on me, that it was just a no-brainer. I was like, at that point in time, started transforming into a new person who's, I guess, clearing that path for me to see the vision of my mission of working with music to, help people heal and release, trauma. And so it was very much the same way as you're speaking with, listening to it at night and just having release work and finding comfort. It's almost like the tones become a friend,
Yeah.
that it becomes very comforting, and it really helps to soothe the body. And so it was just a no-brainer moving forward at that point to make that, my true life mission of just utilizing frequency and sound to help heal the body.
Now, a lot of the binaural beats that I listen to, that I used to listen to, because I don't go there anymore. I listen to, I honestly, I solely listen to what you're doing, because it was just, this hum, or this frequency. And I dug it, but you've taken it to another level. You're adding lyrics, you're adding chants, you're adding different sorts of drumming instrumentation, or rattling, or just different types of instrumentation with it. And it really changes it for you, and it gives you something more. It's not your standard. Am I correct?
Yeah. Well, for me, when I was listening to the pure tones, which is just, a pure note or frequency, that kind of, I think it's beneficial, but I think a lot of people have a hard time processing, sitting for more than just a few minutes. And I think it's something that you have to come back to and revisit sometimes to kind of remember and have the appreciation for it. But I think what I set out to do was, being a musician and an artist and creative person, I listened to the pure tones and I could see the benefits, and I started noticing these are really working for me. They're helping alleviate headaches and take away body pain. But I was like, as an artist, how can I make this more creative? How could I become part of this movement of sound, but find my own unique spot in there? And so I just started experimenting. I built a frequency table that plays frequency, into the body, and started experimenting with myself, and started experimenting with family and friends, anyone that would sit still long enough to check it out.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. And so I started experimenting with drums and, everything, electronic drums to hand drums, and using didgeridoos and singing bowls, tuning forks. And then I got into synthesizers and guitar, and started layering, started recording and putting in 5 or 6 or 7, human voice, and then putting a couple keyboards and some singing bowls, and just started really experimenting with where can this go. And so I'm really excited, for all the people who've been supporting me for the last 3 years. I've put out an album every single month for the last 3 years. And, in that time, there was definitely people that helped me keep going. That's a huge commitment,
Yeah.
A lot of times where you're like, is anyone listening to this? Is this reaching the people?
Yeah, I know that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you would get feedback where people were saying, things similar to what you just said, and to what I experienced, and why I started down this path. So it's definitely connecting with people. And I think it's because it's, you can take one of my albums and listen to it in everyday life. You can use some of the tracks to clean the house, and, you could even work out to some of the tracks and do types of things. But there's also those key meditation, deep trance, hypnotherapy almost, just kind of dropping you into a very meditative state. And so I think it's neat that people can utilize it in different ways.
Now, let me ask you, because I know, just like any music, when you lay down tracks, you lay it down in a particular way. There are levels, if you will.
Hmm.
Um, do you lay down the frequency first as like a foundation, and that plays through the whole of the piece?
It's depend. So it really depends on what you're working with. But typically, I would say yes. That's how I do it. I would lay a frequency down, the note or frequency that I'm working with, and I really want that to be a full sound by itself. And I want it to be kind of the lead singer in the band, to play throughout the recording. And I think that's one of the difference is that having that consistent tone through the whole track and then tuning your instruments to match the frequency and kind of building everything around that frequency is what makes that have the power. There's a lot of layering I do with octaves and harmonies to the healing frequencies as well that really helps balance and make a full track. And I think that's why it has such an effect on people, is just really bringing a fullness of sound to that experience.
Now, you and I did a worked on a track together.
Mm-hmm.
And the beginning of that, there's a frequency that comes in. Does that play? Because I really haven't noticed. I noticed it in the beginning, notice it at the end. Is that the basis of that piece, that particular piece, Upward Spiral, I believe it's
Yeah.
called?
Yeah, so that's 432 hertz, that track. And that's playing through the whole track all the way through. And so it's in the beginning and at the end through, where the levels of the drums and the chanting and stuff fade out. So you can hear it at the beginning and the end a little more prevalent than, the middle of the song. But it's there the whole time.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to go down that path because I just talked about that piece that we did together and the collaboration that we did. And for those of you who have heard that piece, and you guys who follow me probably have heard it, but it wasn't like Ian and I got together and high-fived in the same room and did that. Ian one day he asked me if I would, if he sent me a piece that I would put a chant to it, and I said sure. And I haven't used my recording tools in almost probably 20 years, GarageBand or whatever, how long it's been, you know how that goes. You experiment and you play around with stuff and let somebody handle that, because I was in a band, and let somebody else do that. So when you sent that to me, I really had to like step into hip deep into the waters of what I was doing, and really not knowing what I was doing. But what I did know what I was doing was listening to the guides, listening to spirit, listening to what they were producing through me. And that chant, I literally hit the music, and as the music started playing, I just started singing. And I when it was done, I stopped it and I sent you, what do you think about this? And you responded, that's it. And that was literally my first take. And I was just laughing at myself. I'm like, really? That's how this works? And I had no idea of the reaction that piece was going to get, because we get an amazing reaction from people when they hear that. They're just like, whoa. And not just because of the chant, but the music and the chant, the way that it came together, that spirit just said yes to it. Mm-hmm. And it was just amazing, just amazing.
I find that's also like when, because I try creating a lot of things that come up, and that want to come out, whether it's poems or other songs besides, the listening to smile tracks. And I find that to be the really unique difference with the sound healing and just versus regular music, is that a lot of it is just like a straight lightning download. Like it's just, smacks you in the chest, and it kind of demands your attention to bring that into the world. And I think there's so much, before any track, I sit down and I meditate, and I just try to clear space so that I can, just as you did at the beginning of the show, so that I can really be a clear channel to bring that co-creation, into play. And as soon as I finished that track, I was like, I just really think this would work with Anthony. We got to, see if we can put that together. I just heard your voice on that, was just really led to, co-create with you on that track.
Yeah.
You know, just listening to you tell that story, it just shows like how divine that timing was and how it just works so on such a synchronized level, you know.
Yeah. You know, I want to remind the audience that you can feel free to comment and share the show. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know if you have any questions that, you know, Ian and I or Ian can answer, or even, you know, Tiffany, she's there too. But, you know, that language that I sang that song in, I was told by some Navajo folks, a family here in Sedona, that the language that I'm speaking is called spirit language. And this started a year ago when I went to Maui. And when I came back, I think my experiences were so profound in Hawaii, because I didn't go as a tourist. I went as a spirit, I want to say a spirit seeker. I went to have my experience with the island, with Pana. The Hawaiian elders, the Hawaiian medicine men, they talk about Pana. And what is Pana? Pana is the connection to earth, the connection to the animals, the connection to the trees, listening to the sound of the wind and listening into the wind. What is it telling me? Listening to the movement of the earth. You know, which is what your music really reminds me of. It reminds me that I'm connected. And that I need to be connected. And that's really, and then when I came back, there was this language that I was speaking, and I did a recording to your song Blue Prana, and I posted it's on YouTube, and I did the whole 4 or 6 minutes in that language. And it was very powerful, and I ended up calling it Prayer of the Blue Prana, you know, and prayer of the blue energy, you know, of the life force, of the light force, you know, blue up in the upper realms. And so that particular song, Upward Spiral, you know, hey na na, hey na na hayo, that what that means is, Great Spirit, I am here, I am ready, I am here. It's a call to the divine that I'm prepared, I'm ready. And I'm always asking, Oishino, 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 are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Which is part of that language that came out, it comes out, you know, and it just, you hear it all the time. I'm talking and go, blah, 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 and it'll come out. So would you, let's play some of that, or the whole, I don't know if you want to play the whole track or how much you want to play of it.
Yeah, we can just play a little bit of it. We don't have to play it, but yeah.
What is your journey, and where will you go?
See, and I was listening to that frequency, underlying frequency.
Yeah.
You know, I hadn't noticed it before, and I always noticed it, like I said, at the beginning and the end. But today I was like, oh, I became conscious of it. Conscious, yeah. You know, which is really, which means more of me was listening than just my ears, and that's something that I talk about all the time. Don't just listen with your ears. Listen with your heart. Listen with your soul. Listen from here, from this place. You know, and you know, when I send that to people, the response, and we said this earlier, is overwhelming. You know, with that, you know, I don't know how many are selling. I don't pay much attention to that, but what does matter, and I do pay attention to, is the way it makes people feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm all about being in the body, being in the feelings, and not in the thinking of the feelings, but in the feelings and what it does for you internally. Because for me, that's what's healed me. You know, those sorts of things. When I pick up a rattler or I play a drum, and I know there's, you know, if I hooked myself up to some sort of machine to read what was going on, I'm sure there would, you know, you know, because that's what you do. You know, you create that, and you know exactly what it's doing, you know. But I want to thank you for reaching out to me and asking me to do that, because I'm honored to be able to do that. You know, I left being a musician and didn't know that I was going to be doing anything like that again. I just thought, oh, I'll just be a shamanic drummer. I'll be doing that, and, you know, making drums and living that world. But I had no idea that I was going to be creating again.
Yeah.
In that way, you know.
Well, I think it's neat, the point that you were saying, you know, listening from your heart and just kind of feeling, you know, feeling that. It's neat because the focus for me is really trying to empower people to listen to their bodies again, because pretty much our society is set up to give our power away in every form and instant of our life, you know. Give your power to the doctor, give your power to the pastor, give your power to the IRS, give your power to the, you know, this, that, and the other. You're constantly releasing decision making. You're constantly releasing, you know, figuring things out for yourself. And I think that there's so much power in reclaiming that connection between the mind, body, and heart, you know, and then really starting to ask yourself, what feels good to me, you know, instead of taking every single article or every single, you know, clinical trial, or, you know, to the full, that this is it, this is the, you know, the answer, the truth in black and white. You know, what does your body say? You know, like, one of the things I bring up a lot is a banana. Is a banana healthy? One minute you hear a doctor say bananas are the most amazing thing, great for you. Take, you know, let them get a little spotty. That even fights cancer. You know, eat that. And you'll hear another doctor say, absolutely, sugar and fat, just all, you know, horrible. Don't eat a banana. You know, and it's just constantly back and forth. Everyone fighting. And I feel like in the sound community, it's very similar. 432, 528. Which one's the best? And everyone's arguing. But I'm saying, figure it out for yourself. Like, listen, explore. Nothing that, you know, singing bowls and stereos and, you know, didgeridoos and gongs, nothing's going to cause harm to you. So you can feel free to explore and to figure out for yourself, what do you think about 432? You know, you just heard it in the song that we just played. What do you think about 528? Do some exploring, dig deep. And
Sarah Richardson.
Yeah.
528, 528, 528, 528. You know, it's like, okay. Yeah.
And so I think that that's what's been missing, is giving all of our power away, and then not making decisions and not asking ourselves the very easy questions, but just, what does it feel like to me? You know, what feels good to my body? And I think sound healing is a really powerful thing, because it can be, you know, paired in combination with pretty much any modality that's out there: acupuncture, massage, you know, hypnotherapy, you know, they're floating, you know, in the flotation, you know, tubes, you know, yeah, I mean, anything. You can add music, and it just, the way, the last thing I'll say on this is, just like when you go to a movie, if you have that climactic music in the background for the climaxes of the movies, and you took that away, can you imagine watching that same scene without all those strings and the epicness of the movie that the music brings. And so this is the same thing with everyday life. When we start adding sound healing and we start and becoming aware and setting an intention with sound, it's one of the most powerful things that you can add to your life. It's a motivator, it's a booster, it's an enhancer. I say frequency is the fuel. So
there you go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, wait, today's the 31st. So tomorrow you have actually a new album coming out, correct?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So, you know what? There are bands in this world that would love to put out an album every month. I mean, that in and of itself is amazing. I was in an Afrobeat orchestra and we put out one EP a few years ago, and we had this string of awesome songs that never got recorded, and I think they finally got recorded about a year ago, but I've since left the band. But it's not an easy thing to go in and do recording. You just don't do it. I mean, there's a lot of people who are having access to it now. A lot of healers, as a matter of fact, are having access to it, doing their sound healings and that sort of thing. But how do you stay motivated, and how do you and I know sometimes you only do 4 or 5 songs, 6 songs, but even that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so every month I'm creating somewhere between 45 and 60 minutes of music with, each album. And I think the motivation is that I'm getting emails and phone calls and, people sending me testimonials about how much the music has affected them. Because, to be honest, it's a huge undertaking to create that much. And I'm doing all the graphic design and all of the mixing and mastering. So, those are 2 or 3 different jobs added into there together. And so there have been times where I, get very challenged with that, where I say like, man, this is hard, and it's been really great because I think it's helped my creative output. It's helped tune and refine, creating on demand. It's helped tune and refine the open channel, to spirit and co-creating. And it's also helped me refine the craft. I feel like each album gets better and better, and I hear that in a lot of the comments through people. So I'm so thankful for all the people that have gone on that journey with me. But I think I stay motivated because, I know I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. This is why I'm here. And I think to see the effect it has on me, as well as the other people, is the fuel I need. But I think the funny thing is people will go to like one sound bath and they'll have this really powerful experience and they'll say, man, this was absolutely amazing. And I'll say like, try listening to it all month and mixing and mastering it and like recording the whole thing. So I'm submitting myself to these frequencies every single day. So I have to do, self-care and finding the time to nourish myself as well, because frequencies are no joke. Like they'll bring clearing and release work and just bring up a lot of issues that you might not have even known were there that you have to kind of face and deal with and moving forward. So it's been very humbling and it's very powerful to be a part of it. So I'm just real thankful.
Yeah. By the way, it's 4:32 p.m. EST. Thanks, Gregory. That's Gregory Hammond. Yeah, Gregory is a great fan. He's a follower and he's a healer probably. And thank you, Gregory, for sending that. That's funny. That's, yeah. Oh, and you sent out a video yesterday, which I was watching last night before I went to bed. I believe it was about 4:32, right?
The sonic geometry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I needed to tune into that. But you have a new record that's coming out tomorrow. Tell us about that.
So it's called Creating an Alternate Timeline. And this last month or so, I've really been having thoughts and memories and things that, and also shows and books that have been around the subject matter of time travel and parallel universes. And so I've started asking myself the question, what if I hadn't started down this path of sound and this journey? What would my life look like now? And you know, I didn't like some of the responses that came up in that questioning of self, you know, and so I started just realizing like how powerful our decisions are each day and how many people they affect, even if it, you know, um, doesn't seem significant at the time, how powerful, you know, choices and like the choices that we make in our day and how they put, you know, our life together. These little facets all come together for this greater picture, and then you start looking at how you lived your life with people, your friends and family, your coworkers, and you start seeing a theme of change, you know, just from this one little point on the timeline. So I became really uh, just enchanted by the mandala effect and kind of, you know, how much that's really starting to gain traction on the internet, social media. You know, people are talking about it more, and you know, the idea of alternate timelines. You know, you make a decision here, and it changes all these 15 steps down the line. And you know, so that's really, this album is about time travel. It's about parallel universes. It's about getting in touch with yourself, asking the hard questions, doing release work. This month coming up with the astrology is going to be a lot of change. There's some big events coming.
Oh yeah.
This month, and so this album was just set up to help accentuate some of those positive traits of the month and to kind of help alleviate some of the heavier energies that are going to be coming in with the questions that we're going to be asking ourselves. And so that's what this album is about, you know, confronting the self, letting the things go that we know that no longer serve us, and kind of moving into our new higher selves, you know.
Yeah.
So.
You know, what's interesting, everything you just said is stuff that I talk about on a daily basis. Whenever I turn the camera on and I start doing a video, whether leading up to the daily mantra, the morning mantra, I'm always talking about releasing, letting go. You know, today I refer to Tuesday. Tuesday is Tuesday. What will you choose for your life? It's not necessarily choosing something better. What would you choose different? What would you choose to let go of? What would you choose to hold on to? What would you choose to reach for? You know, and I'm always challenging my audience to the point where sometimes I'll tag something with, you know, poking the bear with the stick. Am I bothering you? Because I really want to poke people with my questions, and I ask a lot of questions. I'm always asking the question, and I believe that your music asks the question too. It speaks to the soul. Are you ready to release? Are you ready? Are you ready? Oishino. It asks Oishino, are you ready? You know, and you have a choice. I'm ready, or I am ready, or yes, I am ready, or are you ready? You know, that's what Oishino actually means, is are you ready? And the I am ready. It means both things. So it's interesting that everything you say is what I say, and there's no surprise that here we are, you know, for the third time on the air doing a show together and collaborating and doing this, and to the point of one day you said, Anthony, I had a dream that we're going to walk the Camino de Santiago. I said, let's do it. You know? Yeah. So who knows what tandem looks like? Who knows what that connection looks like? You know, people talk about twin flame. Well, what does twin flame really mean? Soul brother. You know, and I feel you like that as a soul brother, and we were able to balance out each other in that way, and that's where we found balance in Upward Spiral, as a matter of fact. Yeah. You know, which I think is interesting because most people think of spiraling as the other way.
Yeah.
So you created balance in that by calling it upward balance spiral. So thank you.
Yeah.
But so is there any particular song on this new piece that's going to you know, ask for our attention more so than the others, or what should we know about the new album coming out tomorrow?
Well, this album's really different for me. I had a little anxiety when I was recording the album because I was like, I don't know, this isn't my traditional stuff that I put out, and I don't know what people's response will be to it. But I just had a lot of supportive people around me that say, you know, every time that you do something different, you have these feelings, and just trust your gut, go with your instinct. If it was to put this out, then it needs to be put out. And you know, so Yeah, this album I put a little more guitar work on certain songs, and I had a little bit of a post rock feel, which is kind of just an instrumental kind of epic, touch your heart type of songs. And so the first track is called the Mandala Effect, and it's probably one of leaning towards one of my favorites on the album. That's not one of the sedative meditative tracks, but it's definitely, it grabs your attention, and I would say that's probably my favorite one on there right now.
It's funny. I was listening to that while I was working at my desk yesterday in Los Angeles, and I kept going back to that first. I kept going back to the beginning. Just like the Princess Bride. Go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning. And it calls to me that way. And and would you share that particular track with us?
Yeah, sure. Let's see here. There we go.
And folks, let us know what you think. Those who are listening, and type in comments and please share. That is so beautiful. As soon as you put that on, I'm in the cosmos, or I'm in the dream state, and then I start to travel. It really reminds me of when I do shamanic drumming on Wednesday nights. I always start from the top of a tree, crow. So, and I noticed that the drumming just went from simple, rhythm started to change.
Yeah.
And the speed, and it takes me on a travel. I travel, and I realized that it was soaring through canyons and through trees and over mountains, and that's what the drumming was simulating. This took me to the same place. It took me to that place, and when you stop, and then I get thrusted forward again, like I'm jumping off of a tree or I'm jumping off a cliff into cool water or something. It's amazing. Yeah. That is beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah, so that has been a really personal frequency of mine. I have a tone generator on my phone. I have one on my computer, and I use different software to create tones. And in meditation, I'll just, with headphones, I'll just use a tone and kind of marinate on it, marinate on that tone and just explore things. And sometimes frequencies are given to me in meditation. It's just like a number will pop into my head to start experimenting with. And so sometimes I'll use the tone generators and just experiment on myself, and I'll start playing with the music. And usually about 6 months to a year, I'll bring something that feels significant to me to the group to share. And this frequency was on the first track. It's 390.6 hertz. So it's 390.6 hertz. And that was given to me in meditation. And I've used it in about 3 or 4 songs here over the last few months. And everyone that hears those tones, whether it's a meditation track or it's a, kind of mid-level upbeat track like we just listened to, the response is the same. People say, this feels really good to my body. And so, I definitely am sharing that to say, check it out. If you have a tone generator or a way to generate 390.6, spend some time with it and see what you think. Or you could buy some CDs from listeningtosmile.com. I mean,
there you go.
There you go.
By the way, if you buy CDs from listeningtosmile.com, you can use the promo code A Rodriguez, all lowercase, and get a 10% discount. Is that right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
So
at checkout, they can just put in your affiliate code, and they take 10% off of every purchase they make.
Shameless promos, I'm telling you. I want to remind everybody that you're listening to the Transformational Sacred Drum Medicine with my special guest, Ian Morris from Listening to Smile. And you can check out his website at www.listeningtosmile.com and bandcamp.com, right? Is that correct?
Smile.bandcamp.com is where the music's at too.
There you go. And I want to, if you have any questions for myself, you can send them to me personally at anthony@sacreddrummedicine.com, or if you need anything from me with regard to that. But we're going to move right back into the show. And this is about Ian today. This isn't about me, which I love. But it is about me, because I'm willing to step into the music and the listening with my heart, with whatever part of my body needs any particular frequency at any given time. What is it that you need? What is it that your body is asking for? And how many of you pay attention and notice what it is your body's asking you for, what your mind is asking you for? Do you need a nap? Do you need to sit down in a chair? Do you need to go out into the country? All those things resonate. Just like Ian's music, it resonated to me from a place of the cosmos. I was back home, because that's where I feel that I live. I'm from. It just took me home. So yeah. Whew, that was powerful. And I think Tiffany said that it brought out her little girl. Her little girl wanted to come out and dance and sway, And there were some folks that said, it reminds me of how I feel when there is gentle rain. Yeah. Wow, love it. They love this. Very nice. They really enjoyed that. Love this. Cool. Sacred Questions, 444 Eastern Standard Time. Gregory again, And thanks for reminding us, Gregory. We need to pay attention to that. And it's funny, because as I was talking to you, I looked up at my clock, and it said 12:24, and 12:20. It's just a time, but it resonates with me, and it always resonates with Christmas Eve. So,
You want to hear something else synchronistic? Is that track we just listened to? The track duration is 4 minutes and 44 seconds.
Thank you, Gregory. Wow. Gregory's working over there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gregory. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And and how many of us pay attention to those sorts of things? I was talking with a medium yesterday who was feeling like she was crazy because she knows things. She's a psychic and she's a medium. She just happens to know things from she was a little girl. And she was institutionalized at one point, and we were talking about that. And I told her, you know what? Stop beating yourself for being who you are. When you see numbers and you understand numbers, just be with that and don't worry about what other people say. I'm sure that when you started doing this kind of music, I'm sure there was some sort of, I don't know, judgment or opinion on it, but that's what we fear sometimes from other people, what their opinion on it is on it, what their are they going to lay a little shame on me because they think I should be doing something different? What do they care?
Yeah.
Do you like it or not? That's all you need to ask yourself. Do you like it or not?
Yeah.
And you know, and from the moment you and I met, and you reached out to me, I was open to all of it, you know. And I love being able to be open, because I was a closed door for a long time, where the only thing that got in here was, you know, not even punk rock. Actually, I was, you know, way into punk rock, and I was into just those hard, edgy sounds. And I was an edgy guy. I don't want to be edgy anymore. I want to have soft ruffles, soft sides, you know, soft folds, I guess. I don't know how to put that. And Carol says she listens, and that's amazing, you know. And thank you for listening, Carol, and everybody who's aboard today. You know, where are we? You know, so you have an affiliate group, which I'm a part of. Well, I've been a part of it up to last month, and you know, things get tight, and there's some things I have to let go. But I'll be back with that. You know, it's important for me to be a part of that affiliate group, and a part of carrying your message with what it is that you do, because I want to carry the message of those people and those things that I believe in. And you know, because there's a for a lifetime there was a lot of things that I didn't believe in. I just didn't care. But thank you for helping me to care.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thing that's neat, I think, about the affiliate program is that traditional sound healing is kind of hosted by a musician or a sound healer. You know, that's people that have singing bowls and the instruments. And I think when I started looking at, as a musician, you know, I started noticing certain things, you know, and that was when I was working with bands that were like in a more technical music theory background, like let's say bluegrass, jazz, classical, you know, music. I started seeing there was a divider between, you know, electronic and folk and rock, and everyone had these kind of walls up around their genres. And I started noticing those type of walls around different sound healers. Oh, you work with that frequency? I don't know, man. You know, I'm all about the 528, or I'm all about 432. And so I started seeing dividing lines between healers as well. And I started asking myself the question, how could I be a part of bringing sound to more of a mainstream level, where more people were working with sound that were not and not sound, you know, that could utilize sound in their practice and their personal life, that would help elevate and raise consciousness and open neural pathways and, you know, new decisions and, you know, for better self. And so that's what the affiliate program really is it's empowering people to use the power of sound in their healing work, but also to add extra income and to reach more people with their message. It teaches them how to facilitate groups with sound healing without being a sound healer or a musician, and to utilize the power of sound in their groups, you know, for creating extra income and for connecting the community with more people, and to utilize sound as a healing tool. So I really like that aspect of our affiliate program.
Yeah, and you have a broad range of people who are doing this. Poets, healers, people who make, Patricia from Ireland, who does mandalas.
Yeah.
Who else? You know, I can go on and on and on, and just it's an amazing array of different types of modalities and different types of healers and artists and amazing souls that, you know, that use your music and are part of that affiliate program. And, you know, and you guys, you know, in fact, there's a bunch of, you have this on YouTube, you have a page where you can go and listen to reviews of your stuff, of you, right?
Yeah. On our YouTube channel, there's testimonials, and then also on the website, you can just go to the website and there's and the about section, there's testimonials where they can click, and you know, we have testimonials from Ireland and Australia and different states in the U.S. and just, you know, old, young, black, white, you know, different backgrounds of people that have utilized or had an experience with the music in some way.
Yeah. And let everybody know how they can get a hold of you if they want to send you, you know, contact you, or, you know, your website or any, all that information.
Okay. Yeah, so listeningtosmile.com is the website, and then my personal email is ian@listeningtosmile.com. And so they can send questions to info@listeningtosmile.com or ian@listeningtosmile.com, and the website's listeningtosmile.com.
Oh, when I started drumming, I had no idea. I've always been drumming since I was a little kid. In fact, I was flunked in second grade because I was always, that's literally part of my story. That's part of my wound, because I didn't have a tribe from that point forward. I was like detached, so separated from my tribe. And that's what's great about what I do now, because now my tribe is huge. It's worldwide, and I don't have to, I have no loneliness. I have no shame. I don't have any of that stuff. But when I really started drumming the way that I do now, I didn't know that it was going to change the lives of others. I didn't know that they were going to reach out to me and just tell me what their experience was like. Because there's people who send me in private their journey experience of what that's like, and how it vibrates in one place in their body, or it aligns their chakras, or any of the things. Sorry, just pulled the headphones off myself. And it's been an amazing experience to be me in this world with regard to that. And I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just saying it's amazing to experience other people's experience.
Yeah.
And that is the treasure, I think, of what you and I do.
Mm-hmm.
Experiencing the treasure, the experience of other people's experience,
Yeah. It's with the affiliate program, I feel very similar to that. The reason is because we, from coffee shops, art galleries, to poets, to, hypnotherapists, neuroscientists, to, all these different backgrounds and walks of life are utilizing the music, and they're using it in ways that I might not have ever thought of, And so it's just a really humbling experience to give yourself to your work and to allow the universe, spirit, to guide it to who it needs to go to, and then to watch it take shape in ways that co-creation, by you sharing your gift, you're touching all these different people, and then you're causing change, causing release work, and you're helping to be a part of that transition. When other people see that, they say, hey, it's basically helping all of us become more authentic, more vulnerable, more and moving into a new space and time with humanity, like we're all part of that process, all of us in every way,
Yeah. Wow. Who knew? You knew. Who knew? I knew. Let me see. We've got a few minutes left. I really want to thank you for inviting me into your circle, your circle of vibration, your circle of sound, your circle of magic, your circle of healing. I've been blessed by it over and over again, and I know I'm going to continue to be blessed by it. And I want to thank you, for allowing me to call you a friend, because that means a lot to me. So just wanted to say that, and we're coming, like I said, to the close of the show. Tell me something that you think the audience should know about what it is that you're doing and what they can achieve with your music.
Well, I think it's really important for people who say, I can't meditate, I don't know how to quiet, I don't know how to sit still, all of those things, because I was one of those people, and still am sometimes. If I neglect my self-care, I can feel it right away, where I'm just, just buzzing, because so much going on in my mind. And that's when it's time to put on the headphones. And when the headphones were introduced into my meditation practice, it was like a night versus day transformation, where I was like, wow, I really found peace, a centered point where I was able to make better decisions about food. I was able to make better decisions about choices in my life. And you're operating from a centered point, from a relaxed state, instead of a worry or fear or whatever. And I think that number one, the first thing that people can do is use binaural beats, pure tones, or sound healing music, frequency minded music, with their meditation practice. It just really can completely change the game for people who have such a hard time with it.
Yeah, I want to speak to something you just said. People always tell me, "Well, I can't quiet my mind." I say, okay, listen to my drumming and just listen for the spaces that are silent, the space between the beats.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and what's going to happen is they start to blur with the beat. And just listen to what happens to you. Just pay attention. Just notice. Be he or she who notices. Oh. Ian, I want to thank you, my friend. Thank you for joining us on the Transformational Sacred Drum Medicine. We'll have to do this again.
Yeah.
Medicine show, excuse me. And I want to thank my producer, Tiffany White Sagewoman, for being an amazing producer and giving us a place to do what it is we do. You can find Ian at www.listeningtosmile.com or ian@listeningtosmile.com, an email. Send him a message. Let us know. Reach out to us if you want to know more. If you want more of Ian on the show, we can do that. We'll make it happen. I'll make it happen. Tiffany will make it happen. I want to thank everybody for coming. My name is Anthony Rodriguez, Walking Crow, and this is the Transformational Sacred Drum Medicine Show. Have a beautiful day.